The Tree of Life and the Qliphoth. Throughout history, many traditions have sought to understand the nature of human consciousness through symbols, stories, and archetypes. Among the most enduring are the Tree of Life and the Tree of Death. Together, these symbolic systems provide a framework for understanding the movement between integrated and fragmented consciousness. The Tree of Life is composed of the Sephiroth, singular Sephira, while the Tree of Death is composed of the Qliphoth, singular Qliphoth. Within the framework of Mirror in the Dark, these systems are approached not as objects of worship or dogma, but as symbolic representations of consciousness. The Tree of Life symbolizes the integrated expression of consciousness. Each Sephira represents a fundamental quality through which the divine may become consciously embodied within human life. The Tree of Death through the Qliphoth symbolizes the shadow expressions of those same qualities. Rather than representing an opposing force to the divine, the Qliphoth illustrate how integrated qualities become fragmented when experienced through unconsciousness, fear, attachment, identification, and separation. Nothing fundamentally new is created. The shadow is not the opposite of light. It is light experienced through distortion. Love becomes attachment, strength becomes domination. Wisdom becomes arrogance, understanding becomes rigidity, harmony becomes performance. The original quality remains present, but its expression has become fragmented through unconsciousness. Within this book, the figures traditionally described as angels and demons are approached symbolically as archetypal patterns of consciousness. Whether these systems are understood psychologically, spiritually, mythologically, or theologically is left entirely to the reader. The purpose of this framework is not to define metaphysical realities, but to provide a practical mirror through which human experience may be honestly observed. Each Qliphoth explored in this book is examined through four interconnected levels. The universal pattern explores the archetypal movement within consciousness itself. The collective unconscious explores how the same pattern emerges collectively throughout humanity, cultures, civilizations, and shared systems of thought. The individual psyche explores how the pattern manifests within our inner world through thoughts, emotions, beliefs, perceptions, identity, motivations, desires, fears, and unconscious conditioning. The world explores how these inner patterns become outwardly expressed through our choices, habits, speech, relationships, and behavior. The observable life we create reflects the consciousness from which it arises. As within, so without. The individual reflects the collective reflects the individual. Transformation therefore moves in both directions. Every act of integration within ourselves quietly contributes to the integration of the world around us. When a shadow pattern becomes active within consciousness, it generally expresses itself in one of two unconscious ways. The first is repression or suppression. The pattern is denied, ignored, or pushed beyond conscious awareness. Although hidden, it continues influencing perception, emotion, and behavior from beneath consciousness, often expressing itself indirectly through projection, compensation, or unconscious reaction. The second is possession. Rather than remaining hidden, the individual becomes identified with the pattern. Fear becomes identity, pride becomes identity, anger becomes identity. Instead of observing the shadow, consciousness becomes governed by it. Neither repression nor possession resolves the shadow. Both allow it to remain unconscious. The purpose of this book is therefore neither suppression nor indulgence, it is integration. Integration is the process of bringing unconscious patterns into conscious awareness, understanding their origin and restoring the integrated quality from which they arose. The chapters that follow are not descriptions of evil, they are invitations into self-awareness. Each Qliphoth is presented alongside its corresponding Sephira, allowing the reader to recognize these symbolic patterns within themselves, within humanity, and within the world. The goal is not to judge the shadow nor to destroy it, but to understand it so completely that it may be consciously integrated. The journey begins not at the highest branches of the tree, but at its roots. For transformation does not begin by escaping the human experience, it begins by becoming fully conscious within it. The purpose is not to become someone else, the purpose is to remember, embody, and live the wholeness that has always been present beneath the fragmentation.